What is this?
Hey everybody, and welcome to Show and Tell, the best 1 hour of the internet with some nice people from around the world, all being cool and friendly and showing off what they're building, what they're making, what they're soldering, what they're 3D printing, what they're knitting, whatever it is. Come by. We have some people from the community, including Digi-Key, but all are welcome. We'll be here till about 7:50, and then we're going to do Ask an Engineer. We're going to start off with Kevin from Digi-Key. Hey, Kevin.
Hey, Kevin, how's it going this week?
Hey, it's going good this week. How are you guys?
Good. Hanging in there yeah.
I love it.
Can you hand me the thing over there? Once again, thank you for the care pack. I forgot if I sent an email, but this is neat. We got the latest things from Digi-Key. So thank you for that. A lot of folks are working from home, and we're delivering the care packs to them.
This is like me and Digi-Key. This is me, and this is Digi-Key.
You know what? It's amazing how many people don't use mouse pads, but then it's also like you ask them, it's like, oh, where's my mouse pad? I wish I had a mouse pad right now.
Yeah.
You know, that's a good idea. Maybe one of the weeks we'll say, bring out your mouse pads for show and tell.
Oh, yeah.
I have a really old one when Apple acquired Next. I'll show that one off. Anyways, what you got going on this week?
We have a lot of stuff going on. Digi-Key, we're still doing very well. We're keeping our business people remote currently. Just as you all know, things are still not good around the world. So we're trying to keep everybody away from our warehouse as much as possible, just to make sure that we can still ship out parts. It's extremely important to everyone out there, not only us hobbyists, but also a lot of businesses that need the parts. So our warehouse is full staffed. Everything's going really well. Our office, we're doing well.
Okay. Cool.
A couple things something that I'm working on. I wanted to make a thermal camera that would monitor, people's foreheads. And obviously this isn't going to be certified to use in a hospital, but this is using the Panasonic Grid Eye camera, the thermal camera, the AMG 8833. Can measure 0 to 80 degrees Celsius. For us people here in the US, it's 32 to 176 degrees roughly.
It's like perfect.
Yeah. I'm using the Feather Huzzah, the Feather Huzzah 32, and the Feather TFT 2.4-inch wing. And I have it set up right now about 6 inches from my forehead. It's pretty close to accurate. I'm still kind of tweaking the code. I'm going to put it into a big 3D printed case and try to adjust it so I want to be about 12 to 16 inches. Yeah. I'm not going to match Lamore's shirt and 6 feet, please, but I'm going to try and get close.
Yeah, I mean, there was somebody who came by Show and Tell a couple weeks, and they showed off. I don't know if you were here for there, but they had a thermal camera calibrator, because you have to calibrate the thermal camera based on what it's actually pointing to, the emission rate. And so they had like a little resistor that was tuned for a certain temperature, and then they would point it, and that way they could calibrate the thermal sensor. So you might want to check out those videos and rebuild that project. Yeah,
that's a great idea. I'll go back and check that out. I think I remember seeing that on Show and Tell.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It was definitely the last couple months. Well, I remember it was like, oh, this is for thermal cameras.
Last couple of months, it's only 1 a week, so that's not a lot. I mean, I have no problem going back and seeing cool projects.
Yeah.
And I really like you guys' the new the neon strips. They're NeoPixel strips, but they're like a neon tube look. I'm gonna try and incorporate something like that on it as well. That's and then if it gets too hot, the lights start flashing.
Yeah, it's great for architectural lighting and ambient lighting. It's calming. It's not so bright it blinds you. It's good stuff.
Yeah, it's really cool stuff. I haven't played around with it yet, but I'm gonna try it out.
Go for it. All right.
Okay, right on. You got anything else, Kevin?
No, that's all I have for today.
Okay. Did you, Kevin?
We'll see you next week.
Did you, Kevin?
Did you, Kevin?
Yeah. And again, I'll say this. I think I say this almost every week. Please send our regards to everyone at Digi-Key. And the community thanks, the Adafruit community thanks Digi-Key. We were able to get through the last 18 weeks by some partnerships and some things with Digi-Key helping us out. So we very much appreciate it. And thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys as well. Thank you for all you do. And we'll be in touch, and we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. It's a marathon.
I know.
All right.
And we're in
right.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Next up, we're going to get to Jeff. Hey, Jeff, how's it going?
Hey,
What's
Jeff.
going on this week?
I'm good. How are you all doing? I guess you covered that already. I should ask. Yeah, but anyway,
Yeah,
things are going pretty well.
Best hour of the week.
Things are going pretty well here in Nebraska, and I just wanted to come by and show off this board that I recently added support for in CircuitPython.
Yay.
This is a microchip board with the SAM E54 microcontroller. It's just a little bit different than the SAM D51s that we support really well, but it allowed me to test the SDIO SPI card interface, which kind of goes faster and is just a little better than the, did I say that right? The SDIO SD card interface, which is better than the SPI that we've used on all of our other boards. So together with this little red board from some people you might know, I was able to probe the signals and see what was going on, and it got me unstuck from a little place where I was stuck. And now this board and potentially more SAM E54 boards can be supported in CircuitPython.
I'm so excited for SDIO. I know it's been a journey on this SDIO path, but believe me, it's going to be worth it. Very few people support SDIO for a reason, but you know, because it's tough. But you challenged through it, and good things will come of it. So excited! Right. I'm planning to see that dev board because I like how it has everything. People want to get one with everything. Now it's Python support. Blinka makes its way.
Yeah, it's got like all this stuff. I haven't even figured out what all these things are, but yeah, it's got plenty of stuff. It's on CircuitPython.org now, so
that's really cool.
Check it out.
Yay!
Yeah, that's right. If folks want to check out the latest board, CircuitPython.org, you can go /downloads or click the download link, and you can see all the boards are sortable and more. In fact, Melissa worked on that. So speaking of, let's go to Melissa. All right, thank you so much, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff.
All right.
Hi, Melissa.
Melissa, how's it going?
Hello. Good. I have this breakout here. It's a 2.8-inch ILI 9341, and it is running with an FT232H, and it is running Blinka, Display.io, and PyPortal example on here, and so it's running the quotes example.
Cool.
And that's just running right off my computer.
How is that possible? What magic is this?
This is a Blinka PyPortal library that I have been working on over the last couple of weeks. And it's also running on the Blinka display, which I've also been working on over a number of weeks.
Does this mean you will have PyPortal?
It gives a lot of flexibility.
Oh, sorry. So Melissa, is there a guide?
We could run it on Raspberry Pi 4.
Yay! Whoa! You just had that handy. And is there a guide coming?
There is. I am working on it. It is almost done, and it should be out really soon.
Okay, so exciting! I can't wait. Actually, I can wait. I want to wait till tomorrow. All right, thanks, Melissa.
All right, thank you so much. Next up, Erin. Hello, Erin. How are you?
Erin, cowgirl.
What you got going on this week?
So I just launched a new tutorial today, and it's really cool. I'm pretty excited about it. I made an LED crackable 6-foot bullwhip. I didn't think this was possible for years and years. I would think that, you know, it gets up to the speed of sound, so it, you know, breaks the sound barrier. I would think that it would break the LEDs, but these little dots that I'm using are super strong and tough, and I decided to give it a shot, and it seems to work. So I'll kind of demonstrate a little bit. Oops, if I can get it from. It's got a really cool power button on the end that lights up.
The video, and people can see
plays a cool animation. What was that?
We'll play the video on the next show, and people can see it being cracked.
Cool, yeah. I'm not going to be able to crack it in here, obviously, but I can demonstrate some of the animations just by shaking it. So it's got 2 different motion-sensitive animations. Let's see. And it also has a sound reactive animation, so that when you do get a crack, it'll go a little crazy. So just shaking it around, I can get some of the different animations to play, which is pretty fun. Super customizable. You can change the colors, and you can change the speed of things and all that kind of stuff. And it's just, it's a blast. I've been having so much fun on the 4th of July, going out and cracking this thing for all the neighbors. So it's been a really good time. It's a fun project. So just launched that.
Yeah, it's actually safer than fireworks, but you get the same glowy, loud effect.
You do, yeah. People, it makes me like scream and jump every time it goes off. So a lot of fun.
Yeah. All right. Sweet.
All right.
All right.
So much.
And the guide's live, and we'll show the video on the next show, so people want to see that. Thank you, Erin.
Next up, we're going to go to Bryan. Hello, Brian.
Hello, Brian.
What you got on this week?
Spelunking.
I am spelunking in my own room. So I have a house that has poor lighting, and so for the longest time I've relied on these little guys, headlamps. You just I think they're for hiking or camping or spelunking. I have one on basically any time I'm doing anything involving like working on stuff. So they go through batteries pretty quick when you're wearing them constantly. I eventually got this one. It's a little pencil guy with a rechargeable battery that charges off of micro USB. Still, that's a huge improvement over buying humongous packs of AAAs from Amazon, but it's still not as long as it could be, and I have to like use it at a dimmer setting to get the most life out of it. So what I did is I made this. This is just a off-the-shelf headlamp from Harbor Freight. I think they're all of $15, currently 10 with a coupon, which is pretty ridiculous. So it runs off of AAAs like everything else. So what I did is you can see it works great.
Ooh.
Blinks. Yeah, it's actually super bright. One cool thing I like about this one is that it's got a lens that you can focus to go spot or beam. Anyways, so let me switch to my other camera and I'll show you what I did to make it work better.
Okay.
So on the back, I've got a LiPo. And just making sure you guys can still hear me, right?
Yeah.
Great. So yeah, I've got a LiPo on the back here. It's a 2-cell, still only putting out 4.2 volts max. So what I do is have a power boost back here. It's bumping it up to 5 volts. These things run off of 3 AAAs, which is 4.5. So I actually added a buck as well, which is kind of ridiculous. I'll probably try and make a purpose-built boost for this. But it's got a little shut-off button that you can use to turn it on, turn it off. And yeah, it works great.
The news is AAA batteries, when they're fresh, are 1.7 volts, so it should be able to run off of 5 volts.
Oh, good to know. All right, I will remove that then.
Yeah.
I think I may need to get. I have to measure the current going out of this thing because it does occasionally shut off by itself, and I'm thinking that I might be having thermal problems or just blowing too much current. So, yeah.
Okay. Or use a diode. That'll reduce it down a little bit too.
Sure. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Sounds great. Looks great.
Oh, one other thing that's also blinking. Let me switch back to my first camera. So I've been working on this AS7341 sensor. It's a light sensor, and it includes a little LED.
Hello. Goodbye. It took him out.
I think he hit the
He hit the button.
hit the eject button.
I know.
Well, we'll check back with Brian when Brian returns. But let's now go to you're back.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. All right. See if I can focus in on this a little bit better. There we go. So it's blinking like nuts. I've got it pulsing between so you can control the current going through the LED. So I've got like a couple of longer pulses at like the minimum current, and then a couple at the shorter ones at the high current. So this isn't even the max current either. But anyways, some fancy, nice little LED on a nice little sensor board. We're gonna have some fun with that thing.
Okay, use that to light up your house.
I should.
That's nice. All right, thanks, Brian, for all the
you,
glowy
Brian.
updates.
All right. Next up, we're going to go to JP, and I'll put up JP's screen.
Right on. So I was getting a bit of a max headroom thing from Brian there. That's pretty great.
Yeah, it's coming back.
I'm so glad. It's probably the right time for it.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I know.
Yeah, I want to add. That's what we actually need right now, because we're already in whatever timeline this is. Adding some max headroom would it wouldn't surprise. It would just be like, oh yeah,
thematically appropriate.
Well, yeah, we should rename it Ask Engineer being based on the hacker, so we can base it off of Network 23.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. What do you have to, JP?
So I just had a couple little things I wanted to show. I had shown last week on my live stream this clue that's sending MIDI signals either over USB or Bluetooth. And one thing I didn't talk about too much, but I wanted to highlight is it's really easy to do pretty useful user interface on this clue here. I was excited to be able to use some of these touch pads to be able to go between modes. So you'll see here I have this little patch 1, 2, 3, 4 thing that changes.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, at the bottom, incrementing.
And the same with these little rows here. I was able to use, I added a little dot there so I could see which one am I looking at, and then I can tap the A and B button to raise and lower the number of the CC there. And then I was also toggling sending or pausing my info with these. So look at the code when that comes out. The code is up in GitHub, but the guide is on the way, and you might find some useful tips there for doing user interface, because it's kind of a whole new world versus just buttons and LEDs. When we have a screen like this, it's been pretty terrific, and it's enough interface inputs, I think, to do some really useful stuff.
And that's BLE Midi too, so it's totally wireless.
It is. It's beaming it right over the air. That's all you need is a battery with this. And then I updated it so I could also plug it in over USB if I had a device that couldn't use the wireless. It also will send that out as well with a little toggle.
Awesome.
So that is coming soon. And then another little, if we have time, I had a little tip and trick kind of thing I wanted to show. You can go to my full camera view now and pull that other one away. And all this is I don't know if I've ever shown this before, but this is a technique I've used to coil cables, and this is kind of a standard micro USB cable, and I wanted a coil version of it, like a phone, and this isn't that hard to do. The basic technique involves wrapping a coil around a dowel, and I'm using zip ties here to hold the ends nice and tight. You get a really good coil there, and then hit it with a heat gun or a hair dryer on high for about 2-3 minutes. And then you can either just let it cool, or you can quench it with cold water to thermoset it. And that means the plastic develops a memory. This is PVC plastic usually around these. It develops a memory of that position, and it does return to it. It doesn't just kind of unwind over time. So I might do like a little one-pager guide on that sometime in case people are curious and want some more details on it. But it's super helpful if for whatever reason you want to relive your 1980s phone call days and have a coiled cable instead of a boring old straight cable.
JP, you say that, but what I know is what you're really turning is everything into a plug-in synthesizer, modular synthesizer. So the MIDI jacks are always.
It is. That's it. It's going to be a coily patch cable thing.
Patch cable.
Yeah. Good tip. The only thing, this is my request, if you can add this to the guide, since you said quenching. Now I have to imagine you forged in Burbank, forged in JP's workshop. So if you can have that in there where you're quenching your phone cord USB cable.
And then you hold it up and you're like, is it straight? Or curly?
Yeah. Will it curl? Okay. Yeah, very cool.
All right,
thank you so much, JP. Tomorrow, your show, 4 p.m. Eastern.
Come on by. Yeah.
Come by. All right. Thank you, JP.
Thank you, JP.
All right, next up, and then Pedro.
Pedro, what you got going on?
Hey, what's up, folks? Hey. Let's see here. Yeah, there we go. This week, we put together a 3D printed case for Carter's project. He put together a triangle time thing, which uses these 2 LED matrices. These are the 8x8 versions. And it's using the accelerometer that's built into the Feather Sense with the NRF52840. So this simulates some physics, and you can create a nice little desktop kind of physics toy with the Feather Sense and Carter's code. It all snap fits together. Ooh, sorry, I'm like moving all the things. Go ahead, Lamar.
Oh, we were inspired. We saw this on Instagram. I don't remember off the top of my head. I was like, oh my goodness, we have the sand code already in CircuitPython.
Exactly. Yeah, this was something I saw too on Twitter by David Projectos, and it's a really sweet case. So we figured, hey, let's try to remake it and make it snap fit, easy assembly, and really minimal parts. The Feather Sense has all the things in there that you need and more some. So it does have the LiPo charger built into it, so you can recharge the battery when it gets slow. And make it go the other way.
Yeah, because now it's out of
Yep. And then I'm just using this little stemma cable so I can assemble it a little bit easier. But that's what we have cooking this week. And then for next week, we have a RGB Matrix project. So let's see if I can give me 50 seconds to run through this one. So this is the RGB Matrix, the what is it? Something 32 by 64, I think. And this is a collab project with Liz Clark, and she put together the code in CircuitPython. So we're thinking that this would make a really cool scoreboard for some sports ball. So we got our little hoop here, and we got a little arcade button. So if I hit the arcade button, it'll start the game. And if you would, Pedro, please demo. I will hold this up. And you can,
no, but not.
Oh, there we go. We got 4 points.
This is the future of all sports.
I know.
Like, this is
ideally, we'll fit this over like a waste bin or a recycling bin or whatever.
Yeah.
And we'll just have some fun because we need more games in-house as we're going to be in-house the rest of our lives.
Use it as
it'll
Jeff
be for a little while. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. As Jeff said, we'll use it for throwing our failed prints.
Yeah. We're going to throw all our failed prints through here. And we'll have some sound effects going on in the background as well, since speaking of Jeff, we'll have some MP3s streaming in the background.
Yeah, you can do that.
Some fun cat sounds when you score a point. I think I missed that one. Yeah, so that will be hopefully next week's project.
Awesome.
This is really
It's super fun. Like, I haven't even set it up yet. I can't wait to play with it.
All right. Thank you so much, Noe Pedro. And everyone, don't forget there's 3D Hangouts every single week. On Wednesday, we'll be playing these videos from some of the projects and more on Ask an Engineer in just a little bit.
Excellent. Thank you.
Cool. All right. Next up, we're going to go to Phil B. And then after that, we're going to continue to expand out to the rest of the community. We'll go to Chris Young after Phil B. So Phil B, take it away.
Hey, I don't know that I will ever get used to seeing the CircuitPython REPL on an LED matrix. That is so weird.
I know, isn't it? You know what's neat? You know what's neat? It's just like it's just like CircuitPython when it shows up as a USB drive. Now I can never imagine using a microcontroller in a different way. Now with the REPL, the serial, now I don't want to use anything else in a different way. And now it's just like, whoa, like of course we should always have this. Of course.
REPL all the things.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to switch cameras here. I showed something, I think it was last week. I've been working on some camera code. Oh, come on, switch camera. There we go. Okay, you see, yeah, I've been working with the little OV7670 cameras and getting them working on the Grand Central. And it's kind of amazing. I got like live video type stuff going through. But so anyway, I think we're going to end up using these like for machine learning stuff. Like you'll put a cat or dog in front of it, and it'll tell you cat, dog, whatever. But I have this weird obsession with eyeballs, and something I've wanted to do for a very long time is eye tracking, so that the eyeballs that I make can track people eyes, like monstery stuff. But the thing with these little cameras is they have this fixed focus lens, and it's set for like 2 feet to infinity. So you can focus on things out here, but if you were trying to look at an eyeball up close, I have eyeballs sitting around.
Yeah, that's fine.
So you get them up close to the camera, which is what you would need for eye tracking, and your image is all blurry. And actually, you can do eye tracking with a blurry image. It doesn't matter because you're just looking for a circle, and if you do a threshold, you get a sharp circle anyway. But if you can get a sharp image, I mean, why not, right? And so these cameras, they have a little set screw on them, and the lens is threaded. And I figured, okay, there's probably some amount of adjustability in there. Maybe we can get it down to like 1 foot or 6 inches and get the picture a little bit better. And what I found out is, so just a few turns counterclockwise, and now I can focus on the eyeball up close, which is great. Yeah, you'd have to tweak it to get it just right, but it's awesome. I can get focused really close, and I kept going just for fun. And I did not expect this, but it turns out these go all the way, and you can. This is $5.
Now it's a microscope. This is cool.
Yeah, so you can use this like a video microscope. It was able to focus that close in, which I just did not expect.
Yeah.
So when we're not identifying cats and dogs or apples and oranges, there has to be some kind of project of making a video microscope. But
that's cool.
It's pretty amazing. You can zoom all the way in. If you keep going, now I just cleaned this lens, so it's not going to work. You can go all the way to where it focuses on the dust on the surface of the lens.
That's cool.
So that was unexpected.
All right, nice.
anyway, that's just something I've been playing with, and I'll eventually have eyeballs.
I just like how you pulled out an eyeball, like so.
Yeah. Who amongst us doesn't have a drawer of eyeballs?
Right.
All right.
All right,
So-
thanks, Bobby.
Thank you, Paint Your Dragon. All right, next up, we're going to go to Chris Young. Hello, Chris. How are you?
Hey,
And
Chris.
Chris's screen.
There we go. Last week I was on and I showed my 2-player game system for the PyGamer, and I finally got the learning guide up this week. And not only does it work on the PyGamer, now I've got it working on the PyBadge as well.
Awesome.
One of the main differences is on the PyGamer, I was using a SD card on the back to store my sound files. And I finally figured out how to use the internal memory. The PyGamer's got 8 megabytes, but the badge only has 2. So I had to kind of strip down some of my sound files to get them to fit. But it works really well, and the code's on GitHub. One other thing I wanted to show you.
Yeah.
Give me just a second here. Programming tricks. Something I've been wanting to do for years. And I don't know if it's always been there and I didn't know it or what happened, but you always see an Arduino code like that top line where you print a label and then you print a value. Because if you look at the Arduino reference, it only mentions print and print line. It doesn't mention printf. And I always wanted to do formatted output. And it turns out printf, serial printf works. And I didn't know
but only on our boards because we added it manually because I was tired of doing it the first way. So I was like, I want to print that.
It works a lot of places. And and so, it's not like Arcadia print. It's actual serial print will work. Yeah. And I never knew, I don't think it was in there. Or if it was, it certainly wasn't documented. And so now I'm doing printf all over the place and having a big time with it. So I know, everybody's into CircuitPython, but I'm just too old school. And I like to have my C++. And now I've got one of my old favorite commands is finally available. So anyway, the 2-player game is up. It's on GitHub. Learning guides in the learning system. And I hope somebody comes up with some more games. You could do about anything you want to it. You could make checkers or chess or card games or all sorts of things. It provides all the infrastructure that you need.
Awesome. And you have a cute cat.
There's a cat in the background.
Oh, yeah. Getting photobombed by those are Barb's cats.
Well, thank you so much, Chris, and also good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you,
Good to be
Chris.
seen.
All
Okay.
right,
Bye, Chris.
sweet.
All right. Next up, we're going to go to M0, Mark. M0, Mark, how's it going?
Fine, and you?
Good.
Good. So I made this board, which is actually not what I'm here to show and tell you, but this cool board that I made has a SMD21 G on it. In fact, it's thank you. I used the Feather M0 Express reference design and copied it right onto this board and the flash chip. But it raised the question of now that I have 100 of these in my possession, how do you program them? And I could go the really corporate route and buy a JTAG programmer, but the thing I want to show you is that I built this because there's a cute library that you guys have, Adafruit DAP, which lets you program SWD-based or SAMD-based processors.
That's right. We use it for every one that we make because it's so fast.
But it's cool, but it's awkward. So I made it much easier to use. So this is a regular Feather, and I'm going to plug it in here to my computer and show you what happens when I do that. Okay, sorry, it's as close as I can get this thing to focus because I don't have a good camera.
No, multi-flash.
Multi-flash. You have to say it like in Fifth Element. Multi-flash.
Yeah,
Okay, so of course, multi-flash shows up as like on my screen as a disk. And so I can drag my binaries that I want to flash onto it because I'm doing the same exact trick as CircuitPython. And did I not manage to actually drag them there? Right, I didn't, because I did that. And in a moment, you'll see that multi-flash actually tells you what binary files it's going to flash.
Yeah.
Okay, but the cool thing is that now, whoops, I can take this out of there and then go back to my desktop. And then I can hand this over to my electronics bench and use like a battery and plug in my programmer.
You got some like good video camera game.
Yeah, good work. Yeah, good work, Mark.
Like,
yeah. I was gonna say like,
the hardware is
you do some of this for a living, I think.
I do live music streaming, and so I got OBS down. Okay, so this is a version of that board, but with everything populated on it.
Oh wow!
And if I were to, it actually is plugged in right now, and it does nothing. And of course, it's from the factory, so it has no bootloader on it either. So how do you get the code on there? Well, I brought out a few of the pins down here that are the SWD pins, and if I plug multi-flash into it, and let's bring multi-flash into view, because the cool thing about multi-flash is when I say go flash, starting to flash, and you get a little
progress bar.
Progress bar, and then it goes again. It verifies every single byte because checksums aren't enough, and boom, and then it resets the target. And that actually is the only piece of code which is not working, because you notice it did not reset. See, it did not reset. But if I unplug and replug, and if the gods are with me, there it is. It's there, and you can see it's got like this is a music thing, and it's got a UI, and
it's cool.
And it also has the bootloader on it, so now this can use UF2. It's just using the standard Feather M0 UF2 bootloader. So this thing is multi-flash, and it's up on GitHub already under my account M0. And the other cool thing about it is all the UI for it has been abstracted out. So there's another UI module that makes it work. You can use this with the circuit playground and use the little LEDs as a progress bar.
Ooh.
So there you go.
All right, Mark.
Nothing purchased required.
Excellent work, not only on what you did, but I know this was a technically complicated demo to show live and have everything work out. So good work with that. When we're shipping stickers as seen on the show and tell stickers, just drop me a note, and I'll send you out one. There's plenty of room on it for the back of that case there.
Excellent. Thank you.
You can run CircuitPython on that synthesizer, and if you do, send us a link and we'll blog it.
Yeah, we can put that in the newsletter and do a blog post as well.
Okay, cool.
All right, good work, Mark.
All right, thanks.
Okay, next up we're going to go to Carrie and then Orlando. I'll try to give everyone a little bit of a heads up. I try to remember to do that.
All right, next up, Carrie.
Hello, Carrie.
Hello. How's it going? So, yay. So here I have a little solderless breadboard project. I was asked to do a workshop as part of a now virtual, of course, STEAM camp this summer. And it's a STEAM camp for girls, so introducing them to all kinds of electronics and science and tech and stuff like that. But they're all going to be at their own houses, and they don't necessarily have tools. And I was thinking, wow, well, what can we do that's kind of fun and interactive and doesn't require any special equipment? So I basically took the circuit that's on SparkFun's Weevil-Eye kit and just made a little solderless breadboard out of it. So it's a light sensor with LEDs. So when you cover the light sensor, the LEDs are on. Yeah.
Let's go.
Woohoo! And I actually just ordered some parts from you guys today because I thought it would be helpful to have the battery and the switch all as one handy little package that you just plug into the board, and you have that nice little breakout for it. So yeah, so there you go. If anybody is wondering, gosh, what can I teach in a virtual environment that's kind of easy and fun and interactive? This is something that's pretty good that you can ship to people ahead of time, and they can put together a little circuit.
I like it. It reminds me of some of Orlando's projects. And I know that Orlando did some workshops a couple of years ago, and they were very similar.
Yeah, cool.
Awesome.
But yeah, and I'll try to put up some instructions and stuff like that. I'm going to draw it all up in Fritzing and.
Yeah, send us the links.
If you remember, drop a note to pt@adafruit.com. That goes to me, and if you want us to post it up and get the word out, we can help out with that.
Cool, that would be awesome.
Thanks, Carrie.
Okay, thank you so much, Carrie.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
All right, next up, speaking of Orlando.
Speaking of Orlando.
Hey, Orlando, how's it going?
Orlando. We can't
Oh,
hear
you're
you.
on mute, so you got to unmute.
Hello there, how are you?
Here we go.
Hey.
Hello.
Yeah, when she was showing her project, sort of reminded me of the workshops I do. So
I know. I was like, that looks just like your workshop
Yeah.
kits.
Love
you got going on?
the LED, the turning light on and off. I love it. All right, so this week, I think I may have talked about this watch before, but for my PhD work, I make a smartwatch to do respiration and heart rate monitoring. So the idea is that we sort of like want to monitor recovering drug users, so people suffering from substance abuse disorder. So the idea is, if they were to leave the rehabilitation center, if there's some way we can monitor if they were to overdose, like we can basically call for help in case they overdose. Because there are a lot of things to solve when it comes to substance abuse disorder, but using it as an ambulatory monitor, so just in case people happen to fall prey to it when they're outside the rehabilitation clinic, we're hoping to basically save lives. Is kind of the idea there. So this watch monitors heart rate and respiration. I recently sort of been reworking the firmware quite a bit because it got really unwieldy and hard to manage. So I had to restructure the libraries and all that kind of stuff. And so on top of all the stuff I actually need for my PhD, I started doing different things like status detection. So now it can tell whether or not I'm wearing it, whether or not I'm sleeping, whether or not I'm just sitting at my desk doing work, or moving around doing work, and whether or not I'm walking or jogging. And so if you look at the bottom right there, so it was currently just sitting at my desk charging. So that's why it says not worn, because it wasn't worn. And the way I did that is that it actually has an optical-based sensor on the bottom for the heart rate monitor. And so when it's not picking up the heart rate signal, the signal actually picks up as relatively random. So I essentially just created a bit of a little random detection algorithm to determine whether or not it's working. And I'm kind of surprised it worked as well as it did. That's cool. Yeah. And so there's a couple of things I can't necessarily show right now because there's a couple of things I have to do for my dissertation work. But I have a little graph that's plotting so you can actually see the heart rate signal real time. And so this isn't the actual heart rate signal because it's not being worn, so it's just me touching it and putting in noise. Yeah. And then on top of that, there's some more cool things like step counting, calories monitored, distance traveled. I haven't moved much today, so I've been working on my desk. And I have 1,000 steps. And then I actually have essentially, this is the algorithm doing the activity detection. So it picked me up that I was sedentary for a bit. That's when I started picking up and playing with it. And so it has to see that I've been doing the same activity for 5 consecutive minutes before it changes the activity status. It's like a 5-minute day shift essentially. And I took it out walking and then going to Walmart and sleeping and all those types of things. I was honestly surprised at how well it worked. Because it's really just a bunch of little if statements, like if the accelerometer is moving this much.
Yeah, you'd be surprised what's in the Apple iWatch. It's a lot of if statements.
So this was really cool. So I haven't tried jogging because I'm not great at running. So I don't want to go out of breath for 5 minutes. But sleep, it actually picked up incredibly well. And it picked up my nap earlier, which was 10 minutes long. And so I was pretty happy with that. So
you got to be careful. Your advisor's going to be watching and be like, why were you napping? You were supposed to be sleeping for your defense.
Yeah.
So this watch may tell on you. You just gotta watch out.
Oh yeah, I think about it a lot. Okay, one of the things I didn't notice about myself. But what's really cool about it though is that actually by wearing it, I started learning a lot about myself. My heart rate is probably a lot higher than it needs to be, so I need to work on my cardio. I don't walk enough, that kind of stuff. So I was like, man, that's actually pretty neat. And obviously a lot of people say, oh, you can do that with a normal smartwatch. But what's the fun in that? You want to make one, right?
Exactly.
And then you can have all the different features you want, get as much of the data as you want. So I really love it, to be totally frank. And I've been teaching a course on actually how to build a watch like this. Actually, go ahead. Sorry, I just cut you off.
Yeah, I know. We're just saying good work.
Yeah, thank you. I've been teaching a course on how to build a smartwatch. So I've actually basically just been modeling after this. I can't give them everything, some of the things obviously PhD specific. But next week I'll talk about sort of the different modifications that the students are doing to build their own watch, and some of those things are public, so I can share that as well.
Yeah, share them. We'll post them.
And then just 2 things. One, thanks for teaching these courses because everyone hears about industrial design, but the software that runs on these things and just because Apple Watch is a thing doesn't mean there's not going to be something else that comes along. And how do we train and teach the people who are going to build the next thing that's out there? And the other thing is, I just wanted to say, over the years you've showed projects and everything. I always like how, you have a cause inside of all of your projects. There's always a good thing going. It's because it's more than just bits. This one is for folks recovering from addiction. And then you've always had something plus that. So thanks for doing that, especially influencing the next generation of people. If we can get them to think about things like that too, world better place. Trying to do it. So thanks for doing that.
Thanks, Orlando.
Thank you. And it goes what I say, but a lot of code libraries, a lot of reference designs that come directly from your stuff. So
good.
Thank you.
That's the goal.
This is what
Team effort.
What's the phrase that we like to change and use is like when someone lights a candle from an existing flame, it doesn't diminish the flame, it just makes the light brighter. So that's what open source can be. It just makes a brighter light for all of us. So thank you so much for working on that stuff.
Thank you.
Okay, cool. So we're gonna now go to David and then Greg and then Mark. So everyone get on deck. Let me see if I can get David in here. David, you're an icon, but then you have a screen. So
What's the screen?
Yeah.
Rover Wing. Okay.
Yeah, so this is a project I've been working on with a friend over the last few years. And what it is, it's a wing for any feather board that is basically a substitute to what the Rev Robotics expansion hub is. So it has a bunch of motor drivers and a bunch of sensor ports, and it connects them all to the feather to make it really easy to program. So it has a 2.9 amp motor driver, well, two 2.9 amp motor drivers, as well as encoder pinouts. So you can hook up whatever encoders you want, and it can easily drive like a large motor, like a Never S20 motor. And additionally, it has ports for 3 sets of sonar sensors, like the HC SR04. And it has a pinout for up to 4 servos, and then a bunch of analog sensor pins, as well as an I2C breakout and a breakout for GPS and for a compass sensor. And then on board, it has an IMU, a power management system that can take between 7 and 14 volts, and a NeoPixel because everything is RGB.
It's the rule.
Yeah, it makes it 10% faster.
This is fantastic. We saw, I think this was featured on Hackster, and we immediately retweeted it. And I think this is going to be in our newsletter. We're going to put it in awesome feather on GitHub. The headline's right itself. Feather takes flight with the Rover Wing. This is a really great feather accessory that gets a lot of folks in the robotics. Excellent work on this.
Nice work.
Yeah, so we launched a Kickstarter as well as the Hackster project yesterday. So hopefully that goes well.
Yeah.
Okay, check it out. Yeah, this is the one place people can come and promote their Kickstarters. So you can always come on Show and Tell.
Yeah. So here is a question for you. So that's the Kickstarter link right there. Are you willing to come back and show some projects with it over the?
Sure. Like, I have an example robot assembled here. It doesn't actually have anything programmed on it because I burned out all my feathers except for one testing stuff. So
that's cool.
That's hard work for you.
Yeah. So it's a test setup with an older version that has 2 sonars. And a set of cover sensors on the bottom. And this has basically been my test rig for testing all the different versions of the board.
It looks great.
This is great. Well, how about get some more feathers to burn and come back on the Show and Tell, because, you know, Kickstarter has a arc, there's a campaign, and come back and show some of the things that you can do with this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I forgot one thing. There's also like a top section, which is not as exciting, but the good part about it is it's mostly just a perf board, so people can like design their own stuff and test on it. And then it also has a screen and more NeoPixels for more RGB.
Yay!
And a power switch that's really fast.
I love octagonal boards. This is the winner.
All right.
Well, octagons.
Excellent stuff. If you have updates and more, tag us on Twitter. Just put an @Adafruit, and we'll help get the word out there. And thank you for joining and being part of the Feather ecosystem. That's why we made Feather, to see all these types of things take flight and flourish.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome.
Okay.
I thank
Right
you.
on. Super cool. Okay, now we're going to go to Greg, and then we're going to wrap up with Mark. Greg Builds, take it away.
Hey, Greg, I wonder what you're going to show.
Happy Wearables Wednesday, everyone.
Yeah.
Today I've got my boredom busting breakout bow tie, as I call it, or BBBB. So you might be wondering, oh, there seems to be a switch on your bow tie. What's with that? Well, see, it pops off. There's a little magnetic switch.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
And so let's say you're bored on the train. You're going to a formal event, and your smartphone's dead, and you need to stay entertained.
I like how the least worthy thing in that sentence is that you're actually going to go outside to some event. Not that you're
I thought of this before COVID, so it's fine.
It's funny.
Yeah, it gets a little take a train, sort of.
Okay.
So you switch it on, and it plays a little game of Breakout.
Nice.
Oh, good.
Oh no. So you can play a little game of Breakout on your commute, and then you can also, it's got a little demo mode. It's got patented Bowtie AI.
Yeah.
So if you leave it on for 10 seconds after you start it up, it'll start playing itself.
Oh, that's
Okay. Good.
Yeah. So it's based off just an AT-Tiny 85 and a little OLED display with the SSD 1306 OLED display driver. And I wrote all the code in C, and I wanted to practice some microcontroller and C skills. So I just did it in C, and yeah.
All right. Well, Greg, you're all
right.
dressed up and got nowhere to go.
Well,
I know.
this is neat because, you know, there's always that, oh, I can't read my book because I didn't recharge it. Now it's like, I can't go out because my bow tie is still charging.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
cool.
Well, it runs off a little watch battery, so you'd have to go out and buy some more batteries, but
Very good.
Looks fantastic.
If you remember, drop me a note, PT at Adafruit, if you want us to write about it or put it in the Adafruit blog or whatever. Cool project. Thank you for coming by today, Greg.
Alrighty, thank you guys.
Thank
All right.
you.
Okay.
Last but not least,
Hey, Mark, how's it going? What you got going on this week?
So after showing my weather station a couple of weeks ago, I realized that without being able to see the weather it's reporting, it's kind of useless. So I started working, and this is just a very beginning demo of a display to put inside. The camera's not going to focus on this.
It's okay. We see temperature and we see.
Yeah, relatively warm for here. So yeah, at this point, it's just a very beginning proof of concept. I realized that to retrieve information from Adafruit IO, I'd have to start actually making REST calls and parsing them. And right now it's just all in Arduino. So it started to work so far. The next steps are to make the display look a little bit nicer and then print a case to actually make it and mount it somewhere in my house.
Awesome. All right. Well, I like the progress reports we're getting. You're adding and adjusting your project as the days go by. So that's cool.
Yeah, and I've started to write up my own just guide. I'm going to post somewhere on how the weather station was built. Though writing documents for most of my living, it's once you're done work for the day, it's not always something you want to get back to.
Yeah, sometimes we need to do like an actual electronics project for something that we need. And it's like, oh, we've just been doing electronics all day. But
yeah, no, I completely understand that.
Very similar. All right, cool. Well, Mark, keep coming by and showing us the project. You know, it's the season of weather, so your weather station will probably be pretty busy. So you'll have a variety of data to show and share.
It's been interesting. We've had a few thunderstorms come through, and it's really fascinating actually just to see what happens leading up to it, even 12 hours before, how you can see the weather changing, and then you wouldn't recognize it normally, but as you start looking at it, you're like, wait, this is leading up to the thunderstorm.
Yeah, this is going to happen. I think like back in the day, it's like, I've got a jar of bear fat, and it like changes, and like some people are like, I could feel it in my bones. It turns out you can also see it on like
or just use barometric pressure.
Or you could just do that too.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Well, and a long-term thought is to maybe see if I can tie in some AI to it and see, can it actually predict it even for a few hours out?
Yeah. I mean, I've listened to the weather reports and they still haven't nailed it. So, you know,
Can't do worse.
the bar's pretty low. You have a chance.
All right. Thank you, Mark.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Good stuff, Mark. Keep coming back.
Come back.
Cool weather station.
All right, guys, everybody.
We got to everybody this week. Thank you, everyone, for being part of the show and tell this week. It's you know, there's not a lot of great hours in the week sometimes, but this is our favorite. This is our favorite hour of the week, every single week. Thank you so much, everyone, for showing and sharing your projects. This is one of the things that brings us all together. Everyone makes something, and you can do that, and you can come on the show and tell. Don't forget to come by next week, Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern time.
Again.
We will be here. We've extended show and tell to a full hour. We ain't quitting. We ain't going to stop. We're going to keep doing this every single week. This is a marathon of sharing, and we're in mile 1 of a million miles, and we'll keep running along together. So we'll see you next week, everyone, and Ask an Engineer starts in a few minutes.
Thanks, everybody. See you soon.
Bye-bye.